Hello dear friends. With this video, I want to start a series of several videos about indoor renovation. And the first video in this series, I devote to one of the first operations performed in a room where repairs have already been carried out and there are old wallpapers on the walls. And we will talk about such a seemingly banal thing as removing old wallpaper from the walls. I happened to come across different views of customers on this operation. Some homeowners believe that before starting the renovation, it is enough to tear off the old wallpaper where it lags behind the wall, after which, a little bit to putty the walls or even immediately glue the new wallpaper, right on the old one. I must say right away that I do not advise anyone to do either one or the other. Preparing the walls, whether for painting, wallpapering, or for applying other topcoats, requires the complete removal of all old wallpaper from the walls. Only in this way can you be guaranteed to avoid unexpected delamination of the new coating, bubbles on the wall and other unpleasant things that can appear at any time, maybe after some time, or immediately after applying the leveling layer, as a result of which the paper gets wet under the plaster layer or putty, which leads to the subsequent detachment of the coating from the wall. For example, even when sewing up the wall with plasterboard, the interior space will seem invisible to you, but it is advisable to remove the old coating from the wall and treat the wall with soil with antiseptic additives. Such actions will relieve the occurrence of fungus or living creatures on fertile soil made of paper and nutritive glue. Friends, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and then you will always be aware of my new videos, and in the description of this video you can always find links to my articles and other videos on this topic. Having decided on the understanding of why you need to remove old wallpaper, we proceed directly to the very process of this exciting activity. We dismantle all floor and ceiling skirting boards. If someone managed to glue the ceiling plinths directly onto the wallpaper, and if you want to keep them and do without repairing the ceiling, you can cut the wallpaper along the bottom of the ceiling plinth with a wallpaper knife. If you want to preserve the floor covering, then it must be covered with a dense plastic wrap. Don't buy thin plastic wrap on your floor. Subsequently, the film will begin to stick to your feet and will surely break. In order not to damage our hands, we take out all screws and nails from the walls, and also turn off the electricity in this room. To remove wallpaper, you will need a paint bucket, a roller with a long hair, an extension rod, and a narrow spatula. And also, a stepladder or stool. Next, you need to understand what type of wallpaper you want to remove. They can be divided into three types. First is the good old classic paper wallpaper. Second, two-layer wallpaper. For such wallpapers the backing is paper and the front part can be made of vinyl, glossy paper with a pattern, etc. The third type is the so-called paintable wallpaper, most often non-woven. For normal wallpaper removal, soaking of the adhesive composition on which they sit is required, and if everything is clear in the situation with paper, because paper absorbs and passes water well, then with the second type, it may be necessary to remove the first waterproof layer. To do this, it is enough, without using water, to pull from the bottom of the wallpaper canvas, and the first layer will begin to peel off. Dry stripping should work with non-woven wallpaper for painting, but it may also be necessary to soak them directly over the paint. Dry stripping should work with non-woven wallpaper for painting, but it may also be necessary to soak them directly over the paint. Well, now the process itself. From the tap, pour hot water into a bucket. Using a roller on the bar, repeatedly apply water to the old coating. Do not forget that water can pour from the roller onto the floor, and people can live under you. Do not flood them, try to avoid puddles on the floor and a stream on the wall. The purpose of this operation is to wet the wallpaper as much as possible, so that the glue underneath is soaked. It so happens that you have to wet the walls several times in the same place, especially in a situation when the wallpaper was glued in layers on top of each other. In such a situation, after wetting the first layer, we try to separate it from the wall, after which, we continue to soak the subsequent layers again and again. Wallpaper glued on normal factory glue, after soaking, is usually removed completely and without residue. Wallpaper glued in layers, or with the addition of other adhesives not intended for wallpaper, may require additional efforts in cleaning the walls with a spatula. Nothing can be done. We wet the wall, we clean, we wet again, we clean, and so on to the bare wall. Sometimes it can take a very long time to remove old wallpaper, especially in an old fund or where it is not clear what kind of glue was used, but the result should always be the same. Completely clean walls. Therefore, do not despair. Let it take you a little longer to remove the wallpaper than you would like, but the subsequent preparation of the walls is guaranteed to be already without surprises. That's all. Subscribe to my channel. Good luck to everyone and see you soon.